What if I told you that all it takes is 4 steps to make thousands of dollars as a UGC creator, even if you've never been on camera before? Most people think that they need to be influencers and have millions of followers in order to get paid by brands. But here's the thing, right now brands are investing more than ever before on UGC content because it's converting even better than overproduced ads. They want real people and they're willing to pay for it. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact 4-step framework that thousands of UGC creators all over the world are using to land brand deals. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to position yourself, how to land your first gig, and I'm even going to give you a 100% free UGC portfolio template that you can use as your own. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into the goodies, let me actually tell you why right now is the best time to become a UGC creator. As I said earlier, brands are currently shifting their entire marketing budgets into creating more authentic and more raw content. And you'll definitely have noticed it because if you're chronically online like me, you're seeing more and more ads on TikTok and Instagram that could literally just be mistaken as someone just taking their phone, propping it up and doing a story time while using a product. You're seeing more and more ads like these than the typical super luxury looking ads, and there's a real reason for that. When someone who looks like your average customer is reviewing a product, it feels more trustworthy than a celebrity getting paid millions to promote it. Most of the time you can tell it's literally the first time they've ever used that product. Now, one of the greatest things about UGC that a lot of people get mistaken is that you don't actually need thousands of followers to get started. You just need to be able to show that you can create high quality content that can convert. Right now, UGC creators are making anywhere from a few $100s to thousands. Some are even able to replace their full-time income. The opportunity is huge and I'm going to be showing you exactly how to tap into it. Alright, so the first step in this framework is to choose a niche. The reason for this is because you want to position yourself as the go-to creator in that space. Now, I know what you're thinking, do I really need to pick a niche for UGC? Why can't I just promote everything? Technically, you don't have to niche down, but let me tell you why it's in your best interest to do so. When you niche down, brands are seeing you as a specialist instead of someone that's creating generic content. For example, a beauty brand is probably going to pick someone that does skincare and makeup tutorials over someone that does maybe fashion and beauty and makeup and sport and so on. In the long run, all of the niche content that you create now is going to add towards your portfolio. Now, you're going to be creating a website portfolio and also a social media portfolio that brands are going to go and see. When I first started UGC back in 2020, I was basically working for free on a platform called Social Cap, where essentially I would work in exchange for free products. And based off the portfolio that I had, they could see that I was a big skincare enthusiast. I had a lot of before and after pictures of my skin and the products that I was using on my portfolio, and they also knew that I worked at Lush. Now, keep in mind, at that point, I was not GLOWUGC. I had no subscribers, no followers on any platforms. All I had was a portfolio, which was a Google Doc. And the reason why all these brands wanted to work with me, even though I had zero following on any platforms at that point, was because of the fact that they could see I knew skincare down to the science. So when I was making skincare content for their products, it was me actually understanding the product and knowing why it worked so well that made it easier for me to sell it back to customers. And from me working in exchange for free items, I ended up working with the same brands long term and actually getting paid for my content. So in short, how do you actually pick your niche? So now you've understood why it's best to niche down, let me actually show you how to pick a niche. All you have to do is brainstorm. Now, you can do this on your notes app on your iPhone, you can get pen and paper, you can do it on ChatGPT, but essentially you want to figure out what products you already use and love. What kind of content do you really enjoy watching? Like, what is it that you find the most in your bookmarks on TikTok and Instagram? And also, what do you have a good amount of knowledge in? Let's say you're a tech nerd, unlike me, and you know about gigabytes and RAM and all of these technical terms. You might turn around and opt for content where you're promoting tech, so cameras, phones, laptops, new releases of ultra-human rings and so on. Keep in mind that once you pick a niche, it's actually a lot more sustainable for you to create content, because me, for an example, I love skincare so much, so I'm always keeping up to date with what the newest trends are. I'm always buying and trying new products. So that means that I'm never actually running out of content ideas to add to my portfolio. These are products that I would have bought anyway, so whether I'm getting paid or not, that content is still being added to my portfolio. These are some of the most profitable niches right now in the UGC space, so feel free to screenshot. As I said, just pick one that you're genuinely interested in, because you're going to be creating a lot of content around that. Now, let's talk about your portfolio. Your portfolio is going to mean everything when you're first starting out, because this is the proof that brands need to know that you understand what content converts. Now, in general, there's 5 video types that work best. Number 1 being the unboxing. Now, this is where you're opening the product for the first time. This could literally be you unwrapping packaging, showing it from different angles, and even doing like a little sample of the product. Number 2 is the testimonial. This can be a talking head video, or it could actually be completely faceless, where you're only showing the the product itself. Number 3 is the demo, which is you actually showing the product and how it works. Number 4, which is one of my favorites, is the lifestyle shot. So this is basically where the product is integrated into your daily life. This, in my opinion, is one of the most natural and aesthetic ways to showcase a product without being too salesy. And number 5, which was one of the most requested ones that I had in the beauty space, was the before and afters. These ones typically work best in the beauty or fitness niche because of the fact that you can show transformations, which really connect with people. If you've watched my previous video on UGC, you'd know that you don't actually need any fancy equipment for all of this. Your phone is more than enough, and even if you're filming next to a window, that's natural lighting right there. The only 2 things that I'd strongly suggest that you get your hands on is a tripod and a mic that connects directly to your iPhone. That's one of the best ways that you can start as a complete beginner with a very small budget, because you could probably go on Temu or eBay or Amazon and find a mic and tripod for around $15. As I said at the start of this video, I'm going to be giving away my portfolio template alongside the UGC guide that I made, which will break down the entire step-by-step process that I'm mentioning in today's video. Be sure to grab that. That's going to be one of the links down in my description and the pinned comment. Now, before we even move into the next step, I'm actually going to be sharing something really interesting that I've been looking into recently. As you know, I do my absolute best to do research and find what's up to date in our space. And from research, what I found out is that AI UGC is predicted to explode by 250% in the next 5 years. For those of you who are not familiar, AI UGC is a new type of content that brands are actually using right now, where they use AI avatars that look and sound like real people to create UGC style content. Companies are already implementing this, and brands are using AI generated content to test ad concepts faster with a smaller budget as well. Now, this does not mean that humans are being kicked out of the space, and I'm sharing this with you because you actually have a huge advantage to get in early and understand how to create AI UGC content, because believe it or not, there's hundreds of people all over the world right now that are adopting this early, and instead of spending hours on one video and even getting on camera, they're literally generating hundreds of variations of videos in literally a minute. The platform that actually introduced me to this is called CreateUGC. Now, this platform allows you to create AI UGC content in minutes. In short, you get to pick a product, choose an avatar that matches your target audience, put in your script, and hit generate. Within minutes, you'll have a UGC ad ready to go. As an example, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, because there's people that are literally building entire portfolios and social media accounts with AI content creators, and they're getting paid hundreds of dollars per gig without actually even need to turn on a camera. Just as an example, I'm going to take you through the workflow to create your first video. Now, you can choose whatever product you want. You can literally insert a link from a website, AliExpress, whatever you want. For the sake of this video, I'm going to choose a candle, and I'm going to do the product in hand video. Then I'm going to select the picture that I want to use, and the format, which is always going to be 9:16, as they're going to go on TikTok and Instagram. Now, you can choose from the influencers that they already have on the platform for consistency, or you can actually add your own avatar and put a picture of yourself. And the beautiful part about this is that you can also add your own voice. As you can see, based off the picture that I uploaded and the voice that I recorded, is going to create a UGC review video of the candle being reviewed. The way I see it is the future of UGC is more so a hybrid approach. So you use your human content to build and create relationships with clients, and then you use AI to scale your output and deliver faster. Most UGC creators don't actually know that this exists. So if you learn how to properly generate AI UGC, you're going to be ahead of 99% of creators, and you can position yourself as someone that can deliver high quality content at scale, which means that you'll be able to take on more clients. Now, if you guys are interested in trying this out and you don't want to be left out on the trend, I've left the link down in my description for CreateUGC so you can test it out for yourself. As usual, any websites or links or templates that are mentioned in the videos are going to be down in the description and also the pinned comments. Okay, so now that you finalize the content that you want on your portfolio, you're going to move into platform and outreach. This is where you're aiming to land your first gig. And there's 2 ways to do this when you're first starting out, because obviously you won't have a following to back it. And the 2 methods are platform and outreach. Now, starting off with platforms, these are websites where brands post UGC opportunities, and from there, creators are able to apply to these opportunities. I'm going to list all of the best ones on the screen right now, so you can go ahead and screenshot and sign up to every single one of them. When you're signing up for these platforms, please make sure that your profile is fully optimized. You need to make sure that you're using a clear profile picture, that you're actually putting some time and effort into writing a bio that clicks, and that you're uploading your portfolio and the best snippets of it. And if it asks you to upload any videos as examples, make sure that you're posting the best ones that you have from your portfolio. Now, this is a thing that most people don't talk about. When you're first starting out, it's a numbers game. You need to be applying to as many opportunities as you can find. The acceptance rate at the start is low because obviously you don't have any reviews. So these brands don't actually know how well you're working, if you can deliver on time, if you can stick to the brand briefs and stuff like that. That's why the main aim at the start is for you to build up your reviews. You need to show that you've had successful campaigns with brands, and that's typically going to start from you doing a whole bunch of free work. If I'm being completely honest, for your first few gigs, you need to be a-okay with the fact that they're probably just going to send you free products products, or they're going to pay you very, very little. This is where you get to really prove yourself and add those testimonials to your profile. As I said, keep showing that you're working with brands, because over time they're more than willing to pay you for your work. Another great thing about this is that you're building up your practice, so you get a real feel of what it's like working with brands, because while UGC sounds easy, there's a lot that goes into it. You're going to find yourself having to review contract terms and making sure that it's fully fair for you and how you're being compensated. And all of these things can be taught in a YouTube video. You can go and buy courses on UGC, but one of the best ways, in my opinion, to really get a feel for UGC is to really just get in the trenches yourself and experience it. As I said, at the start, you're going to get rejected a lot. You're going to get paid very little or just in free products, but do not get discouraged. You need to keep applying, keep improving your portfolio. Every single time that you do a successful campaign, you're adding it to your portfolio and updating it, and eventually you're going to land paid gigs. Now, the second way is direct outreach. This is actually where I've had the most success, because instead of waiting for brand opportunities, you're going directly to them. Now, the way that I was initially finding brands to work with that would actually pay me was I would go to TikTok and Instagram and search my niche plus the word ad sponsored or ambassador next to it. And from there, I'd see a whole bunch of UGC style ads, and I would screenshot the brands that would come up consistently. From there, I would type up the brands and find their contact information. So this is typically on LinkedIn, on the bottom of their official websites. Now, you can go on the bottom of their official websites and look specifically for the partnership email. If not, you can do a quick job from you and type in partnership manager on their LinkedIn and contact them directly. Again, I do actually have some of the brand's emails in the free portfolio and UGC guide that I'm going to be giving away with this video. So you'll find an entire list of emails in that. Sometimes you can actually reach out through Instagram DMs to these brands. The only thing that I will say is that it does help if you have an Instagram that's already active and running with your UGC content on it, so brands can come along and see exactly what types of videos you're able to create for their brand. But yeah, there's so many ways to get the gigs from brands that you actually want to work with. It's literally just about putting yourself out there and making it a no-brainer for them to want to work with you. Now, after you've landed your first brand deal, you need to focus on delivering content that not only meets expectations but completely exceeds them. Most of the time, getting repeat clients is easier than finding new ones, and the only way that you can do that is by doing the job that you're being paid to do and doing it very well. Now, this is not just producing beautiful, high-quality content. This is actually how you do the customer service side of things. You want to be keeping brands in the loop. You want to explain your workflow. You want to keep them up to date step by step. You want to be able to take feedback well, and most importantly, you need to deliver on time. One thing that you'll notice is that a lot of these brands are doing campaigns that have a set deadline. So if you can't meet the deadline, they're most likely not going to work with you again. My typical workflow from when I've actually landed a client is I will read the brief extremely thoroughly. The brief is going to tell you the exact style that they want from you. Sometimes they'll actually include examples from other creators that they worked with that have performed well. So it makes it a lot easier for you to understand the type of content that they're expecting from you. Make sure to read that carefully, and if there's anything that you don't understand, feel free to ask questions, because brands prefer that you show that you're actively engaged and trying to understand the best content to create for them. What I like to do, which is also a life hack for anything that's like really complicated and like bulky for you to read, I'll go to Claude and I'll ask it to break down the text into caveman terms, so I don't miss anything at all. Like, it's literally can't get any simpler to understand. But yeah, from here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna plan your content. Before you pick up your camera, you need to actually plan out the video. You need to plan a good hook. Now, you can do this by literally just going on TikTok or Instagram and seeing what types of hooks people are using and just recreating them in your own way. I personally recommend that you write out a very loose script, and you can actually even use AI to help you out with this. This is just to ensure that you're not rambling in the video and that you're hitting all the key points in the brief. You can save some inspo videos so you have an idea of like your shot list and stuff like that. And from here, you can edit the video on CapCut or InShot. Both of those are free and they work really well. That's what most UGC creators use. One of the great things about this is there's so many AI tools out there that can actually edit the video from scratch for you. Obviously, most of them are paid, so once you start scaling with UGC, that is a good option for you to look into because you'll save a lot of time. In general, I personally believe that one of the best things that you can do for yourself is learn the basic skill of video editing. Now, I'm not saying become a professional video editor, but like just knowing how to cut up videos by yourself and add in titles and text and stuff like that is going to work very heavily in your favor, because one, instead of hiring an editor, you get to keep more of your profits, and two, it's easier to stay on time because editors can cause delays if they're not reliable or take on too many jobs, which is quite common. Luckily, I've got an amazing video editor who is very on time and very reliable. But yeah, from here, you just need to submit the content and then handle the feedback professionally. One thing that you'll realize very quickly is that there will typically be revisions at the end. The first draft that you send them will not always be the final draft. And once they've accepted the delivery, please make sure to ask them for a testimonial. Even if it's just a written testimonial that you can go ahead and screenshot and add to your portfolio, this is going to help you enormously. Now, for the final thing that we need to cover is money. At the end of the day, you're doing UGC because you're trying to get paid. So you need to know how to price your services so you're not leaving money on the table. level. As I said, when you're first starting out, I recommend that you start working for free. So this is just in exchange for the free product and the testimonial. I know it sounds shit, but in reality, this is what gets you the work, the testimonials and experience. Once you've done at least 5 to 10 gigs, I recommend that you start charging between 50 and 150 per video. And from there, you can start pricing yourself at 300 upwards if you feel like it. The way that you're going to be able to ask for more money is by having more and more proof that brands have worked with you and had successful campaigns with you. Some of the top UGC creators are literally charging thousands for a single video because they're able to prove that their content converts. One typical rule of thumb that I've always followed is once I start feeling burnt out from having too much work is where I start upping my rates. Because what it means is that if I'm typically so burnt out from doing so much content, it means that the people are willing to pay the price that I've put out. If brands are saying yes to your current rates to a point where you're getting so much work, then yes, that is a sign that you can charge much more. Now, as always, let's talk about the scaling side of things. You need to be able to treat UGC as a real business and not just a side hustle. This means that you need to understand contracts, how to make them, how to read them and make sure that you're not getting a short end of the stick. You need to understand how to send invoices, and you also need to track your income and your budget in to make sure that you're not spending more on like editors and equipment than you are making. What I've personally done is I sent all my invoices with Beacons link because it looks really fancy. I'm gonna do a completely separate video on how to set up a Beacons link specifically for UGC, so make sure you subscribe to see that. But yeah, that's the exact 4-step framework to become a UGC creator. If you're genuinely serious about UGC and you want to know all of the ins and outs of everything, and I'm talking a super long video where I break the ins and outs of UGC to the T, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss out on it. If this video helped you at all, please go ahead and drop a like, and if you have any questions at all, drop them down in the comments. I'll be sure to reply. Best of luck, and I'll catch you in the next one.